Okay, here we are. Basically Monday, episode 6.
I can't believe we made it.
Yeah, we're about to go off script a little bit, shoot the shit. You heard a hump day, so I guess it's dump day. Get it? Shit, dump. Anyways, yeah, so here we are. Episode 6. We're on a roll, people. In the middle of summer. How are you guys doing?
Good as usual.
Yeah, pretty good. Just been, I don't know, watching the little one grow up and trying not to die. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that seems to be a high priority these days. Just trying not to die while you're outside.
Yeah, man.
So that's good to hear from the land of Johnny G. So, how about you, Laura?
Also good here. What did I do? Did I do anything interesting since last time? I went golfing with my parents, so that's something.
Oh,
and
wow.
my wife came
Really?
with, and she golfed for the first time ever. It was pretty good, not bad.
Yeah,
Always
I can
trying
imagine
new
your wife as a golfer, Laura.
You said you could?
Yeah, definitely.
That's funny.
Like
yeah,
being like really good at it too.
Interesting. Yeah, I feel like she looked the part. Like she looked like a golfer somehow.
Yep.
Like
I was just gonna ask if she had a golf outfit.
yeah, yep, 100%. It was. She looked like she was a natural. Like,
Did she go with a visor or hat?
a visor, I think.
Oh man,
yeah.
that's for real.
That's the one. Yeah.
Oh wait.
Shout out to Valero's wife.
Yeah,
Are
good
we
for you.
allowed to say her name? I'm not trying to.
I think I
dox her.
already have said her name on here before,
Oh really?
so it's too late.
Oh,
She's
okay,
doxxed.
great. Yeah.
Is that how
You've
you
been
pronounce
doxxed.
that? Yeah.
Doxxed.
yeah, doxed.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
all right, shout out to Lorraine,
Yeah.
style icon out here.
Yeah.
And she says hi, and if I don't say that, like I'm getting in trouble or something.
Yeah. Danielle always does too. She's always like, "Tell him I said hi."
Yeah, she was like, "You're just telling me you're gonna say that. You're not even gonna tell him." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna tell him."
I'm not gonna lie, like when my family does that, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
say it.
I always either forget or like, yeah, I just forget you. Like immediately, I forget. Like,
Yeah, sometimes I remember. I guess it depends, like, how closely I think you know the person you want me to say hi to.
Hmm.
Like, if I get the sense that you want me to say hi because it'll look good for you, then I won't say it. But if you, like, genuinely, like, know this person and, like, care about them, then I'll probably tell them.
okay, you'll
That
relay
makes
the
sense.
message if need be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when my mom says that, I probably would tell you, but only because to that point that you just made, I think that my mom does genuinely care about the people I've made friends with. Like, I think she's met all of them and like knows their character enough to know like how I interact with them. So she actually does mean it when she says like say hi. And same thing with my wife, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Is
that's interesting that you said that because I definitely like subconsciously already sort of follow that. Like if someone, like you said, if someone who I don't think has a genuine relationship with you were to ask me to say hi to you, I absolutely would not relay the message.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to say it's useless, but it's definitely like a platitude. Like I feel like people just say it just like as like a react.
All right, let's just get right into our. I want to get into this topic. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Okay, so
you guys have been like
All
saying.
right, so it's interesting that we're talking about, you know, wives and like families and stuff like that, and relationships because John told me about this new thing that I guess is going around because
Can I not be the person who introduced this to the group?
no,
No,
I mean,
no.
I guess anyway, I just don't know about it, so I'm trying to like
This
set the
is
stage.
public
Okay.
knowledge. I heard about it on
Okay.
my own independently earlier this
Okay,
week
But-
as
I
well.
just
But,
don't
like,
want anyone who's listening to this, like mainly my wife, to be like, "What the fuck are you even looking at?"
I was under the impression
it's just
that
like what we search on Pornhub. It's fine.
Yeah.
I thought you guys already like discussed it. I thought that's
No. When I told you about it earlier, that was literally the first time I was hearing about it.
Okay.
I think I just like put it in the back of my mind and just was like, I just lose my faith in humanity just a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, so we'll just pretend that John wasn't actually on the dating forums. So
Yeah. Right. Yep.
but
I love you, honey.
yeah, today I just thought it would be interesting to kind of talk about, dating and relationships. And John let me know that some people are going to extra measures to kind of try and capture someone into their net. And I was flabbergasted when I heard this. So please, after all this build-up, tell me about the new tricks that are being used out in the streets.
Yeah.
Is there like a credible source? Like, where are we hearing this from, first off?
We have to say what it is, all right?
Well, we have to get to that. Yeah, we'll get there. Okay.
Okay.
So there's some YouTube videos on this of people who have like claimed to have tried this themselves, but basically it is women who are collecting their vaginal
essence.
I guess essence. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. But just
fluid.
Collecting the vaginal fluids that they produce, and basically using it as perfume on their like neck and wrists area, like anywhere you put perfume normally, and basically using that as a measure to attract men. And I guess other people may be using it for like confidence too. I don't know, but yeah, the main time it came up has been with trying to get a date or a mate, and it's called vabbing. So yeah, I man, just
okay.
Just
I
wow.
found an article about it from the New York Post and the ABC channel, but in Australia. So yeah, they're basically saying the exact same thing. On TikTok, it's garnered nearly 250,000 views. Not 750,000 views, featuring clips of women experimenting with the makeshift perfume.
Oh,
wow.
Oh man,
that's just,
oh my god.
Why is
this is terrible.
Oh,
this is
goodness.
terrible.
All right.
This is so bad.
She says, TikToker Mandy Lee says, I swear, if you vab, you will attract people. Like a date, a one-night stand, or you'll just get free drinks all night. Like,
oh my
I don't know.
God.
Like, what does this girl look like? Like, is it because she's not ugly that she's getting dates, drinks?
No, I think that, honestly, there is, like, something to it. Because, like, pheromones are, like, kind of a thing. And I've definitely heard of people that are like in relationships together say like, oh, I just like that person's like natural smell. And they're not like talking about like, oh yeah, like when they're just like out of the shower. They're talking about like when they're like out of the gym, like that deep funk. And they're like, yeah, I like that shit. And
I like that funk.
Yeah, so I can see
No, it's absolutely true.
I can see it. I don't get why people are like doing videos, like recording themselves, like to put into the internet forever. Like, I don't know why you gotta do that, but like, yeah, it's
like, so my wife is a big smell person, so like I can definitely vouch for the fact that like I think like she would attest to like smells being a very strong influence on like, I don't know, maybe sexuality or attractiveness or things like that. So I am not doubting the efficacy of this process. I am questioning why we're doing it at all. I think
because it's on TikTok, baby.
I mean,
it's on TikTok and it gets you laid.
First of all, Valero made a good point. I mean, I don't want to say that being ugly is a good point, but like he asked a question that leads to another question, like, why are women doing this? Like, it's already very, very, very easy to get men. Unless I am just completely, like, unless men have literally changed since the last time I've talked to one of them that was single. But, like, men are so easy already. What the fuck do you need to use juices for to get them to come to you? What is going on? I just don't get it.
It's gonna get those, like, 8s and 9s coming to you if you were only getting those 5s and 6s before. Like,
if you weren't happy with your 5s and 6s, you know what? It probably is true about you that you're not a 5 or 6 yourself. Like, if you're chasing an 8 or a 9, like, just for the sake of it, like, what the fuck?
Oh man,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they are like thinking when they do this, but to me, it makes sense if like someone ends up being attracted to you because you're doing this, and you can somehow isolate it to you doing this vabbing. I'm still not sure how they can like prove that, but if you can isolate it and be like, yeah, it's definitely because I put my juices on my wrists and my neck today. If you can say that, then isn't it good? Like, that's a really good indicator.
No.
You could be because like now you know this person is like into you.
No,
I am
really
you.
I am like, not about to let you spin this.
Bullshit,
No.
Like the most natural like you that you can get. Like, you know that they're gonna be like down for it forever. Like, if your natural you forces you to manipulate people unknowingly into being attracted to you through smell, then you're a terrible fucking person. I'm not saying it was ethical. I'm just saying that you.
No, I know you didn't say it. I'm just going to make sure everyone else knows where I fucking stand on it. That is stupid as fuck. Can you imagine if dudes went around fucking doing some shit like this? They'd go to jail. Like, how are we like okay with this? Women are on TikTok.
What if we put some of our nut butter on like my hand and be like,
so like, and to
lady.
the point Guido was kind of making about like, I don't know why we don't know why they're doing this. Some of the women on TikTok actually have shown why they're doing this. Like, they have shown what they've gotten out of it as a product. Many women have been saying that they got several free drinks. They're not doing this. My point is, they're not doing this for like a long-term mate, as far as anyone can tell. Like, these are because the things they're putting in front of you as like, look, this works, are all superficial. Drinks, dinners, like free things, not people. So like that is a manipulative.
Well, she said a
person.
date for one of them. That was one of the things.
Okay, so maybe we don't know that one, but like that. Just talking about the people who are doing this to get things out of it, or to get men in general, that's manipulative as fuck. Like if men, like Valero said, if men were walking around fucking spraying cum on themselves, and then when you ask them why, they're like, yeah, I'm trying to get some women. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah, you would go to jail. Like,
they would
I'm pretty sure
immediately be called a sexual predator, and they would be locked away. How the fuck have we let women do this? And we're just like, yeah, you're owning your sexuality. No, fuck them. Fuck that. That is
like,
so
yeah, you see what's on my neck and wrist right here?
Oh.
That's pee or cum. Like, like, what the fuck? Like, that'd be so nasty.
Jesus
like,
Christ.
I feel like, isn't like the whole point, like when you go to the bathroom and like you touch your private parts and stuff, and like even if you don't even make contact with your private parts, like you still just wash your hands, like, because like no one on the outside world, like if you see someone not wash their hands after they go to the bathroom, it's like, oh, that's nasty. Like, I don't want to shake your hand, and I don't want you like touching my stuff. Like, but like you're literally going out of your way to put your human body fluids as like a perfume.
Shouldn't that be illegal? Your wrists and stuff. Isn't that in some way sexual assault? Like, you're exposing people to your sexual juices.
Yeah, that is true.
Without their knowledge.
No.
Like, what?
No.
I mean, but they're just smelling it. You're not making them eat it per se, but like still, you're purposely exposing them
because
to it. Like,
you won't get arrested for shitting on yourself, and some people are into that sexually, unfortunately.
Whoa, wait, shitting on yourself. You would definitely get arrested for shitting on someone else.
But I mean,
yeah, but like they're not putting the vagina fluid on other people. They're just putting it on their own necks and wrists.
It's a spray. You don't think like when you touch someone else, like you're exposed to like the things they put on?
That's so nasty.
Like, how many women do you think you could, like, legitimately, like, how many men do you think are out there who have no idea they've shaken hands or hugged a woman who has just sprayed themselves with their own, like, their own bodily fluids?
It's a spray.
I mean,
so like they just collect enough juice to put it in a bottle and make a spray out of it. Like, and then on top of that means you have to leave it sit out for like days or something.
Or like direct application. Like maybe they're just
that's what I thought was always happening. Like literally right before you go out, you just like put your fingers in there, get it wet, and like put it in. Like you got to make sure it's fresh. Oh my god,
dude! Okay, I know. No, wait. Let me frame this a different way. If someone had peed in a cup and then put it on themselves as like some type of cologne, and then you hugged them and realized they had piss on them, wouldn't that socially, at the very least, socially be unacceptable? But also, couldn't there be implications legally? The fact that they've literally exposed you to their own urine without you knowing. Why are we letting it pass because it's a woman's like bodily fluids? What is going on?
I think it's probably already unacceptable that this person is like trying to hug you without you saying you want it.
Okay,
that's true. I guess that's the part
that's fine. But we've also talked about the woman who didn't know she had sex with the guy who had an STD,
right.
And she willingly had sex with him, but she didn't willingly approve of the STD. The same way you could willingly hug someone, but not have wanted any of that on you.
But you would be negligent for agreeing to hug that person.
So do you think the woman was negligent in choosing the guy to have sex with who had an STD? Because that's the exact logic,
right? Right, like that's what the argument would be essentially. Like she was negligent for agreeing to have sex with him, and
to have unprotected sex with him.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
If you agree to let someone shake your hand or give you a hug, then you are agreeing to the slight possibility that they might not have washed their hands after they went to the bathroom, or they deliberately put their own fluids on them.
I would agree with that, but I would still say that the other person is far more negligent or far more to blame or at fault than you would be in that scenario. But yes, obviously you do have some culpability there, because like you are, every time you hug someone you're taking a chance there, I guess. But still, man, this like,
I don't know, man.
Why do
I've
this?
seen some vaginas in my time. They're not all great. Like some of them are great, but like some of them, I don't want them on. I don't want to just smell that throughout the day.
Hey man,
someone.
Maybe they produce something great. Maybe they've changed.
Maybe, but like
people
not
can
everyone
change
has cologne-worthy vagina smell. So like, I would not just go trying this. I guess like if you do it, it's really gonna like weed out the guys that are not interested in that type of thing, like real fast. Like the second they get right next to you, they'll be like, "Oh, but if kidding, gotta go."
But if you're like
you don't have to talk to them
if you're like in a club, which is another application that I've seen for this from women on TikTok. How do you know who it is? Like not every club.
That's true. The club already smells like that,
right? So what do you like? What? Like I don't understand.
You'd be better off just going to a club and not rubbing it on yourself, and the smell's already in the air. So like, boom, there you go. Like,
I just don't understand why people are doing this, and why people are okay with it.
Apparently, it's a hundreds of year old tradition. Like, there's like ancient texts about like this stuff like this happening. Like
ancient stupidity. God
so this is like it comes and go in like waves. Like like people find out about it and they're like, "That's crazy," and then they forget about it.
If any single woman in the future listens to this, please know that we're so much easier than having to rub your vag juice on your face. Okay, like that's it's just not necessary. We're so
like,
easy.
You can literally just go up to any guy and be like, "Hey." Like, you want to talk for a while or like do anything, and they'll just be like, yeah.
And even at a base level relationship, like if you just like want obviously someone who's gonna not be a dick, right, as a boyfriend, like even on that level we're easy to get. Like we just require like very small things. We're very minimal. I promise. Like it will not take that much. You can do it.
You just can't go for like those like the 9s and 10s, because like they're getting way too much action. Like they look like Prince Charming, like what you wanted in your head, but like they're the ones who are gonna be the pickiest and like end up like turning you down or like making it like being an asshole to you. But like 7s, 8s, they're still, that's like above average.
Yeah, man.
And
5
those
to
guys
8,
will say yes to anything.
5 to 8. That's the numbers. After 5, it gets a little desperate. You don't want that.
Right. Yeah, you want at least a 5.
Yeah.
But
someone who knows they're not a 10, but also knows they're not a 1.
Right. That's something.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, what is your issue with? So you're just concerned with the hygiene aspect of it?
I'm also concerned with the social lack of responsibility that we place on women in a case like this. Because I guarantee you, if this was a man doing this, this would never be a trend. It'd be like, wow, look at this terrible sexual predator who sexualized everything and has literally like put themselves in a place to manipulate women and take them back with him. Like, that's what the story would be. But when it's a woman, it's like, we're claiming our scent and we're getting men at the same time. Hooray. Like, that's fucking stupid.
So it's the method of being wanted, not just the wanting to be wanted?
Yeah, sure. If you're asking me my problem with the people who are doing it, yeah, that it's the fact that that's how you're doing it. Because I think that we don't socially accept that in any other case but this.
I don't know. I agree with what you guys are saying, I guess. In the case of that, it is disgusting and that no one's consenting to it. But I feel like the things that everyone is doing these days, like, you're consenting to things without your knowledge all the time that are probably like 5,000 leagues more wild and atrocious than you could ever imagine. And I guess I would say that brings us into like the larger topic of just dating in the year 2022 in general. So, because it seems like now with like social media and everything, everyone is like pretty much just trying to like get the ultimate playbook. And I guess that's how it's always been. Like, everyone's trying to get the like tips and tricks, but now with TikTok, it's like, oh, 3 million people see one thing and it's like, yeah, it works. And that gets added to the arsenal. But like you said, Valero, back in our day, like, you just go to the club and it's like, you just stand there and it's like, oh yeah, someone will just like come up to you. So it's like, why? I guess I'm just wondering, why would you like take something from social media, which isn't like a real place? Like, everything that people are doing on social media is like to be like popular on social media. So how could any of that be genuine? And then you're gonna like use that in real life? That's the thing that I don't agree with here. Like, that's just stupid. Like, what?
I think for a lot of people who are younger in the dating scene, when you say why would you take something on social media that isn't real and put it into real life, I don't think you realize how synonymous real life and social media are for them. I think a lot of them are close to just living through social media, so it's as real as it ever could be as someone doing it like in real life for them. So like when we see things and we see people like flaunting for Instagram or some social media or something like that, we take that to like mean like, oh, clearly they're just showing off so that people will, be interested in them. For them, it's like, yeah, I need to post something too. I need to do this. I need to do that. Like, it's, I think it's as real for them as like just going to school would be for us.
Yeah. Like, so you think it's an extension of their identity?
Definitely. At the very least, an extension. Yeah. It's a good way to put it.
Right. And I think that it's a barrier. It's a wall. Because I don't think anyone really posts their true self on social media. Like, no one like just like gets out of the shower. Well, yeah, some people do. But that's for like a different thing. No one, like, when they like first get up and like get on the toilet, they don't just take a picture of themselves and be like, yeah, taking my morning dump. Hashtag dumping.
Yeah,
like,
some
no.
people
Like, you're supposed to look as cool as possible, but that's not life. Like, you don't look as cool as possible all the time.
Maybe that's why a lot of them are depressed, because they're always trying to look cool and they're trying to reconcile with the fact that you, like you said, you can't all the
right.
time.
So that's why I'm wondering, is that why people are turning to these what you would say are almost like crazy, like black magic, like rituals to try and attract people because they can't, they don't know how else to anymore. Because you don't just go to the club and like stand there and just hope someone walks up to you. I guess the pandemic like kind of affects that too.
Like both things are hard, like standing there in the club or swiping right and finding someone online or whatever. Yeah, like I don't. Yeah, why? Yeah, I don't know. Why are we adding this new thing? I feel like girls already have the upper hand for the most part. So, yeah, I feel like this must just be more of a tip for people who are already, for some reason, struggling to find guys, essentially. Like, obviously, if you're not struggling, you probably shouldn't be doing this or changing your methods. Like, don't fix what's not broken. But if you are struggling, honestly, just literally, it's probably because you're too afraid. All the girls I've ever seen who have struggled have mostly been because they've just been too afraid to, like, maybe, like, initiate a conversation because they're always like, oh, the guy's supposed to, like, initiate everything. But, like, if that's not happening for you, like, maybe, like, a lot of guys out there are just, like, so defeated from getting rejected so often because girls are so hard to get that they just give up. So if you initiate with them, you might actually be pretty in luck. Like, you don't have to rub your pussy juices on you. I mean, you can, I guess, but, like, yeah, make sure you exhaust all your options, like being a go-getter.
What a pep talk.
That might help.
Okay, so yeah, so for a little bit of context for this conversation, so two of us are not in the dating realm anymore. You guys are married, and I'm not. So, like, the last time you guys were like actively dating was when do you think? How long ago?
2016.
The beginning of 2012.
Yep. Okay.
10 years ago.
So do you, I mean, obviously, so do you feel like it's so different now that none of the things that we were doing back then would apply now?
For me, no. I feel like I got in there right during the online dating era. Was pretty prime. And, like, now there's just different apps, but for the most part, it seems like the same thing. Like, yeah, you just, for the most part, 99% of everyone on there is, like, shitty and not worth a second of your time. But there is 1% of people who are, like, some gems out there that you gotta find, but it's just, like, hard to find them. And then get them to like you and arrange a meeting and, like, all that stuff, like, yeah, dating is difficult, but I mean, I from what I understand, that's still basically how it's done today, more or less. Like,
the only difference now, I would say, is that you have to come to the table with, like, all your identities in a row. Like how I was saying, with social media, like, that's an extension of your identity, or that's what John was saying. Like, that's a thing that people consider now. It's like, oh, how many followers do you have? And it's like, what's the context in our relationship for that? Like, but that's like something like people consider. It's like, oh, this is a cool person because they have this many followers, or because they're an influencer, or look at their, like, feed, or all this other stuff.
I feel like that's not even fair, though. Like, you're weeding out, if you do that, you're weeding out, like, huge, like, portions of the population. Because, like, there's only certain personality types that would pursue followers or an influencer. Like, I know you would, I could never see you doing that, ever. In a million years, I could never see you actually being like, oh, gotta talk to my social media crew, gotta post for social media. Like, for yourself, I just can't see it. Like, I just think it's against your very fiber as a being and what you see as, like, spending your time doing something valuable. And I've definitely met, like, other people like you who would just, like, never do it. But, like, you guys are great people. So, like, to pass you up just because you don't have followers, that's just, like, such a shame. Like, Okay, yeah, that's why these girls are struggling out here. Like, you're only trying to get the influencer, like, and there's like a million other guys who are like, would make great partners, but they're getting ignored. Yeah, I guess that would make sense then. Sorry, I interrupted you when you were saying that. I just thought that's crazy.
Wait, interrupted who?
You were talking about how you need followers now to even, like,
oh, yeah,
be in the scene. Like, that's crazy. Like, yeah, it definitely wasn't like that.
I mean,
like, no one was looking at my social media profile to see how many friends or followers I had back in 2016. They were just wanting to make sure I wasn't a serial killer or an idiot, basically.
Right. I think it's just now people expect to find more out about you, like, on their own before actually having to, like, make the decision of engaging with you. And, like, if they can't find that information easily, then, like, now it's, like, a bad thing. And I don't think it used to be that way.
That's probably true. Like, it's always nice, like, when you're looking for anyone online, like, even for a job, like, if they have, like, the more stuff online they have about them, like, the more you can just vet them and just know if they're going to be right for you to begin with. So that's, like, always just, like, a nice thing to have, I guess.
So it's like, I don't know. So everyone just wants it to be easier and easier and easier to the point where you look at their profile, put some pussy juice on your neck, and then, like, get your husband? Is that it?
Basically. I still think they need to make a dating app where it's just a picture of you naked with, like, a bank statement and like standing on a scale or something. Like, that's really all anyone needs to see. Like,
that's what's going on right now, though. Like, that's like, if you go on a dating app or, like, Snapchat or whatever, like, OnlyFans, everyone knows that's a thing. Like, that's essentially just what you said. Like, you put on your feed, like, how your body looks today, and then you show how much money that you're making for the guys, I guess. And then, like, you just wait for someone to DM you or whatever.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I mean, like,
you literally sorry.
I was just gonna say, yeah, if we're going towards, like, efficiency, which that seems to be the way we're going, if we're just swiping right and left at this point. But yeah, that's what's gonna be next.
Yeah, it's like, I was gonna say, it's literally like you're selling yourself. And I know that was the case before, because that's kind of what all relationships are. You kind of have to feel each other out and decide if, like, you're both giving things that help each other, like, become better, or if it's, like, worse, then it doesn't work out. But now it's literally like you're going, like, you're a piece of cattle. It's like, all right, here's number 508, 6'2", 178 pounds, nice shoulders, 508 followers, but is the bidding gonna start at 7,000 likes? Do I hear 8,000 likes? And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like, and I'm sure if anyone's listening to this, they already know this about me. I just feel like it's almost impossible to know someone these days, and why in the world would I ever want to date someone I'll never know? That's just that's how I feel about it these days. So, and I feel like it was a lot easier to, like, actually know someone back when we were all dating, like, 10 years ago or something like that, because it was like after the first, like, maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 dates, like, you can't pretend anymore. Like, you can only put on the act for so long if you're trying to, like, be, like, the super person to, like, impress someone before, like, on the 5th date, like, you have to, like, eventually show your true self. And then from there, if it all works out, then it's cool. But now, when you're juggling so many identities, I kind of just struggle to find.
I think it depends on what medium you use to find people for you, that will determine what kind of people you get in that respect. So like
there's only one medium.
Well, I mean, you could also just go try to meet people like the old-fashioned way.
At a bar?
Well, not at a bar, but you could go to things that interest you, and if they obviously interest the woman there, then you can meet them and do that. Like people,
man, good
people
luck.
could go to like concerts. If you're like super into art, you could go to an art gallery. If you like fucking books, you go to a library. Like there are like, people at those places.
I have to go to the art gallery and hit on every girl until one of them like they'll be like, "What the fuck is this creep doing here?" Like,
no,
like, get this guy out of here.
She'll be like, "Oh, the juice is working."
Yeah, the juice. Yeah, that's literally it.
Yeah. So if you're in a library specifically, then you just want to walk down the fiction aisle, the first fiction aisle. And if you get close to a woman and you can smell that juice, you're probably going to want to pursue, man, because you know she's looking. That's how you know.
You're like, hey, excuse me, ma'am, I couldn't help but smell your aroma.
Aroma. You have to roll your R, too. I can't do it.
Aroma.
Yeah, couldn't help it.
You got to, like, wave your hand in front of your nose.
Couldn't have
like,
helped but gotten a waft of that.
That's great. Oh my God.
It's inside me right now.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know.
Yeah, you would go to jail. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you would get chased out of there by security. Like, there might be like you might get lucky. No. I feel like maybe if you go into the romance aisle,
I promise you,
and you try that, like maybe you have like a 25% chance, but 75% chance you're going to jail.
A woman and a man called the police at the same time. And the woman said, he's been asking me out too much. And the guy said, she smells like her vagina. And she came up to me and just like started making sure I smelled her. I guarantee you it's more likely that she goes to jail. Guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, those are two different offenses at least. But like, yeah, you're completely right. The guy stands no chance. Even if the guy said, like, this girl's asking me out too much, it was like, wow, lucky you. Stop complaining and wasting our lines.
So the point that I was trying to make here was, like, you can go to places that interest you, or that I would say, to Gouda's larger point earlier, was like, if you go to places that interest you, it's more likely that those people carry themselves closer to a manner that you're accustomed to meeting people and getting to know them than in the way that is sort of deadened, like, true, knowledge of people. So, like, I feel like using that medium makes it more likely. Like, I know it's much harder, obviously, to use older mediums that, align with sort of how you think of things, but isn't it already hard to be living in a medium that serves you, like, so little? So you might as well try.
It's funny because I actually think the opposite. I think it's harder to find someone that you would be compatible with in real life just by like circumstance. Even if you go to like one of your hobbies, I feel like that definitely helps. Like,
oh, I agree. I absolutely agree. I think it's probably easier. I just feel like on someone like on Gouda's like specifically, I feel like I might be harder for him.
Well, we're not talking about like real life. Like I would
for someone. Yeah, right. Well, for someone who doesn't want to like sell themselves online.
Well, he's the only person here that's like that would be in the dating realm, so that's why I said that.
Yeah, but none of this is actually real. Just so anyone listening knows, like I would never talk about like my actual life.
Yeah, gotcha. It's like no, there is no chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say that It would be, I think it would be harder on a person who actually identifies more with those outside of like internet things than it would be for someone who like kind of identifies with the online world. Like you, Vallejo. Like I feel like it'd be very easy, or maybe it was easier for you to be in that world because I feel like computers, like you said in one of the other podcasts, like computers and like gaming and online has been a part of who you are for a very long time. So, like, I feel like for people who maybe that wasn't a part of them, or they just don't self-identify as that being a large part of their life, or large enough for it to define them in some aspect, then, I don't know, maybe it's just hard for them. Like, I can't imagine if I'm only online every now and again, and to get on a dating app, that I would even care who comes out of it. Like, I'd just be like, what's the use of this?
Yeah, that is true. And I think a lot of people are like that. So, yeah, like, I actually know a couple of people who are like that. And they don't like dating apps. And, like, that makes sense because, like, looking at their technological background, yeah, they have, like, minimal experience. So, like, obviously, going on a dating app is like, holy shit, like, now I gotta do this other thing on technology and, like, sell myself on top of that.
Yeah, I know people like that too, so that makes sense. Yeah, how do artists find people? They just go to art galleries and just hope? Like, artists who aren't, like, into the internet.
Yeah, I think that's
what you do.
They do.
You just go to art mixers, like, forever?
I think
you just paint a naked picture of yourself and post it on art on Reddit.
I think the problem is that, not the problem, but, like, if you're an artist, I feel like you're living a artist's life. So, like, eventually you're gonna run into those, like, type of people.
That's true. Like, if you're an artist, you're already so broke you have to have 6 roommates. So, like, 6 roommates sounds like the artiste kind of life. Yeah, they're all artists. So, like, boom, the universe brought you together.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just not to go back to one of our earlier episodes. I feel like some of the tonsil people in the world that don't really have tonsils. like a I don't want like they don't really have like something like a person a trait that makes them unique, I guess, or they haven't developed that yet. So, like, they're going on social media and, like, looking at all these, like, tips and tricks to become like the baddest bitch or the mega chat.
Oh, so the followers of those people they're tonsils. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
What if I just like to getting dating tips and try them on my wife? You don't know me, man.
You don't know.
It's silly that, like, how it makes no sense to, like, take what someone else says, like, oh, this is how you attract the person that you want. Like, then you're not really being yourself. So, like, when you do attract that person, like, it's never gonna work because you're doing things that, like, you're just, like, told. It's like you're a robot. Like,
that is
that
true.
Makes no sense.
Like, if it's not natural to you, you're not gonna be able to keep that up for forever.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I think things are just a lot more superficial now too. Like, I feel like because of that dynamic where people are always trying to show what they have and show off, like, a lot of dating must become somewhat transactional, where, like you were saying, you have to have all your identities in a row. Like, I feel like a big one then must be financial, because you have to be able to at least provide a life that looks good to other people for me to, like, consider you. So, like, I feel like a lot of women are looking for a lot of men with a lot of money but no soul, and I use soul, personality, I should say. And then a lot of men are looking for just women they think look really, really hot, who also have no personality. So, like, it's just, I don't know. It's just this never-ending cycle of people acting like they're never going to settle, but really they're settling perpetually all the time because the things they're looking for don't lead to anything that actually makes them happy.
Right. That's exactly it right there. Like, the things you think you want, like, how important are they really for you to, like, live your everyday life? Like, they might not be as important as you think they are. You're just being too picky.
So,
unless you're like a 1, then, like, you take what you can get.
So I'd be interested to hear your guys' opinion as retirees from the game.
Oh man, the game.
Like, what was, like, the hardest part, you think, when you were still doing it as compared to now? Like, I guess what I'm trying to, like, say is, like, do you think it's changed so much that what people want, like, deep down, like, what they actually want, what they're actually looking for, is still the same? Because, like, how you were saying, Valero, like, you want, like, a guy that's super rich or a girl that's super hot. Like that seems like things that have always been like set forth in society as like the things that you go after. Like that is how you get a plus life. You get a hot wife or you get a rich husband, and that puts you like higher on the tier list of finishing this game of life. And I'm just wondering, do you think those things have changed at all? Like now that people are so much more superficial, or is it still the same? Because to me, it sounds like everything's still the same, except there's now just more layers on top of it.
I think in a way it was the same, but like the difference in my mind, it was similar, but the difference in my mind is that people in the past who would say those things would want them at a time where they were looking for stability in their life. Like the reasons around that were different. Well, I think for a woman maybe were a lot different. Now for a guy, then I think they're pretty much the same. But I feel like there's a point in between like being a kid and defining what you wanted like through those means. I feel like there was a period there where people just dated around and like actually tried to get to know some people. So it wasn't like socially unacceptable to like be with someone who maybe other people didn't like because just because they were like a bad person. It might have been unacceptable for other reasons, but like it wasn't unacceptable because they're going to make you look bad on social media. Whereas now it's considered so early because you are on social media. Like there's like 10, 12-year-old kids who have social media who are like have entire personalities. One of the biggest YouTubers is like a kid under 10 or some shit. Like I don't even know who she is, but like that's my point. Like basically all of the people who have these personas, they're having these personas so early that they have to consider those stupid things, those superficial things, so much earlier, I think, than they used to. Like I feel like you broke out of it easier because eventually you like found stability through like normal things. But like now your life is just perpetually in front of everybody else so much that you need to immediately eliminate all potential bad mates, even if that means you don't get to know as many people.
Yeah.
Wait, what was your original question? I have forgot it now.
Do you think it's changed so much?
I guess I'm just trying to understand, like, at the core of, like, what people want in a relationship, is it still the same, or do you think it's changed? Because I feel like it's still the same, but just clouded.
Yeah, I would agree. It's still the same. Like, yeah, like, like I don't even want to say anything else about it because it's just like I would be repeating the same thing that John said. But basically, like, yeah, it's the same. Girls want stability and money, and guys want sex and that. Like I don't know, like that.
So you think it's really still that simple?
I mean, like, basically, like, there might be, like, some people who are a little different, but, like, for the most part, yeah. I
think it's just more socially a part of your identity now, who you date. Like, I think you could, there was a world where you could just live in where before no one had to really know about who you were dating and who you were, like, intimate with at all. And I feel like that doesn't exist now. Like, I feel like there's a much larger percentage of people who literally put on there, like, they would actually rather put that they're seeing someone than to just be, like, have no affiliation with anyone.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you're just so afraid to be single that you can't even admit that you're single. Like,
I think it's funny because, yeah.
It's part of your social credit.
Yeah.
Man.
So, like, how you were saying, John, that so much of everyone's life is just, like, in front of everyone now. It's funny because I was out earlier, like on a walk, and I saw someone like going through the park, and then they stopped and like set up their phone on a bench, and then like walked out so that they would be in frame, and then they like just like started spinning or whatever, and so they could get like a good, I don't know, video or clip or whatever, and then went back to the phone and like kept going, and like I saw that happen, so and I was like, oh, so everyone is like thinks that they're on a TV show now. Like everyone is just making their own TV show, and they want it to be as awesome as possible and get as many viewers as possible. And then when it's not you can't.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
if everyone has a TV show, no one's gonna watch anything.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, that's why I said earlier. That's another reason why I said earlier. I don't think they make it much of a distinction from real life and social media because they spend so much of their real life trying to make stuff for social media. So, like, which one is the real one? If I spent most of my time making social media stuff, social media would be more real to me. Just like how the metaverse will eventually be more real for people than the real world. That's a real thing. Like, it's already happening. Basically, you're seeing the early stages of that.
Whoa, man!
Can you imagine dating in the metaverse?
God.
Yeah, when you guys are like Bolero said in the last episode, you listeners from 2222. You'll have to leave a comment on however the hell you're listening to this to let us know.
They're like, look at these guys, they don't even know.
Yeah, dating in the metaverse, holy shit. I mean, I guess, I don't know, I haven't heard of anyone yet dating in VR. Have you guys?
No, but I have already seen test runs of people doing games in VR where you can meet up with other people. So like I already know what's happening. Like you can already like meet someone's avatar
on a video game, so I can already see this is possible.
Yeah.
Like the moment you can hear each other's voice, it's over.
Yeah. You can meet someone as their avatar, but instead of like in a real game where you just be like typing to them in like a chat or something, you're literally hearing their actual voice. And as they move, that thing is moving. So yeah, it's happening.
I just wonder, and I'd be curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this. If you if you're in a relationship where their online identity played a part in you guys getting together, like, what happens when you guys aren't online together? Like, is that person like the same as they're trying to be on social media? And then when you see that they aren't, and then like they go to social media and like do all this like other like stuff that isn't true, are you guys like just both in on it, or are you looking sideways like, man, this person is a poser?
Like, it's funny you asked that. So on 90 Day Fiancé, the show or whatever, they had this one social media like influencer. I forget how popular she was, but she was popular enough to be a social media influencer or whatever. And she started dating like one of her fans she met online, and she lived in Australia. So then she was gonna like come here. Like she visited her like, actually no, she had never visited her before or something like that. So like that was the first time she was ever gonna like see her or whatever. And it went terribly. Like the fan was like, "You're not really like anything what I expected." Like really, like the girl was like pretty introverted actually. I'm like surprised she even like had or even wanted to have like a social media following. But like in real life, she had like no energy and no drive to like be doing all the stuff that she makes it seem like she's doing. And she just wants to chill. And meanwhile, the girl, they were lesbian, by the way, which is why there's two girls. But like, so the girl was, that the fan was like, yeah, like this is nothing what I expected. Like, I was expecting you to be like doing all this stuff, like what you're showing, and like I'm bored. Like this is, yeah, it's a completely different. It's misleading. Like that's exactly what it is. It's misleading.
Yeah.
So that it would make it harder for yourself actually. Like if you're doing all that for social media, then yeah, you're right. That's gonna make it harder. Because how can you keep that up in real life?
That actually makes me a good question. Like, so there are a subset of people, like you said, who are like completely putting on a show for social media to the point where if you met them online, you really wouldn't know them. So like obviously there's a show, Catfish. How many of those people, and just so you guys know, whoever, I mean, I'm assuming most of the people watching this or listening to this have seen Catfish. Most of the people, when they get caught catfishing at the end, they always tell the person they were catfishing that even though they lied about who they were and what they looked like, all of the emotions were true and it was all them the whole time. like that verbatim is the words that they use.
Yep.
So I'm just wondering how many of you like think, and you guys should comment about this too. How many of you guys think that like the people who say that are telling the truth? Like, how many of them do you think actually have their actual selves online versus people who are, like you said, just making up a persona for social media?
Are you asking us too?
Yeah, you too.
I think they get lulled so far into the fantasy that they do actually indeed believe that was them. Like, they think that is true, even though we know on the outside it's not. But
so you think like that's not really the case, but they believe it's the case.
Absolutely. Like, for them, they live that reality, like, day in and day out, so how can you tell them it's not real if they did actually live it?
Yeah, I mean, you can't.
I think, just, like, based off personality types and, like, how they're distributed, I feel like there's literally only, like, 10% of the population would actually want to live the life that an influencer actually lives. So I would guess that, yeah, probably like 10% of influencers only are actually portraying a somewhat realistic version of their life. Everyone else, it's like, this is a job and they're doing it for money. Like, so like, they go to work, they do the things that they're not normally comfortable doing in real life, but they do it. They do it for the gram, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just another job. This is what we all wanted, like, 15 years ago, where it's like, you know what would be great? If, like, we didn't have to get a career and work at this, like, shitty 9-to-5 job, and we could just, like, post online and just talk to our friends all day. This is it. This is what we asked for.
Yeah.
But now it's not quite as everything is pumped up to be. Apparently.
Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, I just want to get paid to party. And now, like, you have to have a party every day. And that shit is hard. I remember trying to do that in
college. Yeah. Yeah, good luck trying to do that. If you're not a real partier, yeah, you're gonna burn out. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
Or if you're not gonna burn out, you're just gonna hate your job. And, like, and then probably burn out still, so.
Yeah. So just one last question, and you guys don't have to get like super far into it, or even answer it if you're not comfortable. But how has life in the dating world versus the married world differed for you guys, if at all? I mean, obviously it has to, but like just the feeling of being in like a relationship when you're actually like not married. And then once you guys are married, so it's like there's no going back. Like, does it feel like anything changes at all, or is it too complicated to really say?
I feel like there's a change. Like, we both know we can't get out of this, so it's just like, all right, this is it. Like, for instance, like I had like an ingrown hair on my armpit, and I couldn't pop it myself. Like. So she had to do it. I feel like I would have just never even, like, brought that up if we weren't married. Like, maybe if we were engaged, but, like, when we were dating and, like, I wasn't quite sure, or we both weren't quite sure if, like, we were going to be together, or whatever, like, trying to put our best foot forward every step of the way we could. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, we weren't being fake, but we were definitely, like, trying our best at this point. I wouldn't say having your girl pop a pimple in your armpit is trying your best, like, but, like, hey, like, you gotta do what you gotta do. So, like, I appreciate it. That's true love right there. Hopefully she still loves me, but, like, yeah, I feel like there's just, like, a whole new level of comfort, like, once you, like, make that commitment. At least for me. And hopefully on the other end, too.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Marriage is popping armpit pimples. Yeah. But no, that's actually a very, very true. I think, I think there's a finality to marriage that, like Valero said, like this is it. You have to work this out because that's the decision you made with that person. So, yeah, I think things are a lot less rosy when you're married. Like, obviously, I think, I don't know, like, because you know a person, like, truly know a person, because you're going to be with them for so much of your time, like, I feel like you can see how your personalities, complement each other, and if they clash, like, where they clash, like, things you might disagree on. Like, you can't, I don't know, I don't think you can get that, if you're, like, just casually dating someone. So, like, honestly, I don't think you even really know a person until you've been, like, dating them for a while, to the point where you guys have already discussed potentially getting married and what you want out of those kind of things. Because that's after you have to be that level of comfortable with someone, they have to have seen things about you that you would never want other people to see.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, like, if you live with someone for a whole year, so you see them every day for a year, like, it's pretty hard to keep up a facade for every day for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could never do it. Like, anything I try and do, like, I can maybe keep up for, like, a month. So, like, after that, I'm just like, all right, screw it. Like, this is more exhausting than it's worth. So, yeah.
Yeah, they say habits are formed after a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's usually when I quit. I'm just like, I'm not forming this habit.
Yeah.
So.
And, yeah, so that's, like you said, John, I think that's amazing and beautiful to hear from both of you guys, because it's like, that's real. It's real, genuine, like, care and love and appreciation. And like you said, Valero, in the beginning, like, after a month, like, I'm not faking anymore. But, like, going back to the conversation we had, you can't just, like, quit social media after a month. You have to keep posting. So, like,
True.
Whoever you were when you meet, like, you have to be that person forever. That's what it seems like now, which is just, I don't think is reasonable, because no one is actually themselves when you first meet them, and people grow and evolve and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, they say, like, every 7 years your personality or something changes, like, vastly about yourself or something like that. So, yeah, you got to be able to grow with someone. And yeah, if one person isn't changing and the other person is, I feel like, yeah, that's just a recipe for you're not going to be together. Like,
yeah.
It doesn't seem fair for the person who's not changing, but at the same time, like, how could you expect someone not to ever grow? So,
yeah, so that's another part of it. You have to find someone who you can grow with. So, like, you have to be somewhat forward-looking and think to yourself, like, what are the parameters of what this person can become, and what are the parameters of what I can become? And, like, is that compatible now? Sure, but will that be compatible in the future? So, like, when you say you're marrying someone, you're basically saying, yes, I think as we morph and change, we're still going to be people who want to be with each other.
Yeah, have you ever met someone who doesn't want to grow?
No.
Like, have you ever met someone who's like, you know what, I need someone who also doesn't want to improve in any way, and who'll just leave me alone, and I can
I've
also
definitely met people like that,
Yeah.
Wow.
It is pretty wild.
It's not that crazy. It's pretty common.
Yeah, it's common, but it's like, as the person who could never be that, it's wild to see for me.
I think.
Yeah, I feel like growth is important.
I think it's even crazier. Yeah, I agree. It is very important, but I think it's even crazier because people that don't have any interest in growing and never grow, oftentimes don't even realize that that's the case. Like,
right.
They believe that the lane that they park themselves in for their life is, like, the optimal one, and to change is, like, failure. But really, like, all roads break and crack eventually. So
yeah,
you gotta.
Yeah. That's definitely true. You gotta be willing to say, I hope I'm in the most optimal lane, but if I find a better one, I'm willing to put that blinker on.
Yeah, there's always a better lane somewhere.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna leave it there. That seems like some pretty insightful stuff from three old men that don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. I'm kidding.
Yeah, we're dropping bars. Our lives are fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But like John said, leave a comment.
Yeah, man, I'm really interested to hear what people think about it.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, man, because 72% of you guys who listen to these are subscribed.
We don't even have enough viewers to make a 72%.
Sure we do,
that's
man.
not even possible.
Sure we do. You don't even know.
It's either 100% or 0%.
I checked the numbers, man. 72%, man. They are not subscribed.
After we just
Two buddy told me
pander and be fake, and now you're gonna do this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, guys, it really helps us out, aka give us money.
Yeah, we need that for the algorithm, man.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I guess that's episode 6. Thanks, guys. Until next time.
We didn't mean it. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.